Welcome back to Morning Express. Let's get straight into the discussions making the rounds this morning. Joining us in the studio is the president of the Nigeria Nexus, Patriot Desmond Patriot Fowobi. Good morning to you and welcome to the studio.
Good morning, Bito. Good morning, Nigerian.
It feels good to be here once again.
Well, starting off with the first topic on the list this morning is the controversial statement made by the APC National Chairman, Dr. Goodluck Ganduje, where he referenced the one-party state trend we're seeing with a spate of major defections, with the APC being the benefactor as other political parties are losing their bigwigs. Now, he has gotten into a clash of words with Damagun and Gabam, who are saying that a one-party state in no way would be tolerated in Nigeria. We've seen that happen in some African country where it was phased out over time once they had an agreement on how it worked. But do you think that the APC chairman is being misunderstood, or do you think he is a proponent of a one-party state?
Let me say, as one of the invited journalists or guests that was invited to the reception dinner where the chairman made this statement, from what I understood from the comments made by the chairman, I think he is highly misunderstood by the chairman of PDP, the acting chairman of PDP, Damagum, because he was talking about the time of PDP in office. He was talking about that if you look at the ratio of the percentage of the states that PDP was occupying in the year 1999, in the year 2003, in the year 2007, even 2015, that if you look at the number of states that PDP governize and they are running as states, that is very, very high compared to the number of states that APC presently is now running, that people are crying woe that APC is trying to turn Nigeria into one-party state. And I see sense in what he was trying to say, because if you look at it then, almost every state in Nigeria, a PDP state, except few states in the southwest that are ACN. If you recall, you will realize that PDP has enjoyed even one-party states more than the APC is currently enjoying. So the cry that a lot of PDP stewards, a lot of stakeholders in the PDP have been crying off that APC is turning Nigeria into one-party state, he was only trying to justify that the PDP, if they want to be sincere and fair, if they are not trying to be political and try to stir dust from the water, that they are not in the position to be crying that the APC party is turning Nigeria into a what? Into a one-party state. And he also further said that this energy they are putting into complaining, that they should have used the energy to put their house in order. So I think it was highly misunderstood.
Now, let's also look at part of the transcript here, because he says that it is also a testament to the good work that the APC is doing.
Yes, he did talk about some of the great jobs that the president is doing in terms of student loan, in terms of road infrastructure. He emphasized on the coastal road from Lagos to Calabar, the kind of job opportunity that would bring. He talks about subsidy. Yes, I could hear him. He talked about subsidy era, which was a scam, and so many other things. He talks about so many other things that APC government under the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is actually doing. So for me, I think I will still go back to the PDP. PDP is the major opposition party that is not providing that bite of opposition. If you look at the number of states that is being covered even presently by the PDP, you realize that it's just that the PDP are not interested in providing credible opposition, and that is why they need to resolve whatever conflict, whatever conflict of interest within the stakeholders within the party and forge ahead.
Now let's look at the number of quotes credited to the APC national chairman. Firstly, he says, and I quote, "A one-party state is not by force. It is by negotiation. It is because other political parties see the effects of the positive governance of our party. If they decide to come to our party willingly, I think there is nothing wrong with that. Too many cooks spoil the soup. Too many political parties spoil governance." Unquote. Too many political parties spoil governance. You agree with him? He just said that the PDP is one of the strong oppositions needed, and for there to be effective governance, there need to be a strong opposition. Yeah. His statement seems as though he disagrees with the need for a strong opposition.
He is a politician, and he's only trying to do everything possible to ensure that his party remain most relevant political party in Nigeria. That's a party where the sides where every politician or everyone would want to, associate with. So for me, he's just been natural human. He's been human, he's been natural. He's trying to be objective, and he's also trying to woo more people to the party. But now it is now left for the Nigerian. Nigeria is not is not in the stage of dark age. A lot of elites, a lot of educated Nigerians, a lot of people who are inclined politically. So the statement made by the chairman of APC is not authoritative, and it is not authentic. It is just a political statement. So nobody should rely strongly on the comment or the statement made by the APC chairman, because he's not an authority in the field. He does not even understand the advantage of one-party state and multi-party state. For me, as a political scientist, I feel that the best thing that can ever happen to any of us in this country is having multiple political party. Multiple political party will not only increase political participation, but also provides what they call accountability. It was Karl Marx who said power corrupt. Absolute power corrupt absolutely. If the country degenerate into a single party state, it would cause a lot of dictatorship. It will encourage a lot of dictatorship, selection against election, and so many other vices or negative effect of, just like what happened in Lagos. They recently conducted primaries in Lagos. Do you even know that there was no primaries in Lagos? It was just a question of selection, and their constitution allows it. So nobody can go to court to challenge the charade that happens in Lagos State over the weekend. So you just need to understand that multi-party system will serve as a deterrent from any political party to swing or to move into what they call dictatorship.
Well, moving on to another issue in the news this morning, let's look at the PDP governors. Their meeting in Abuja had a surprise attendee. The FCT minister was reportedly present. And one of the outcomes of the meeting is that the governors decided to constitute a committee led by former President Bukola Saraki, Senate President, to reconcile grieving party members ahead of the NEC meeting.
Yes.
What do you make of the attendance of he claims to be the force behind the party that has held it together over the years, the FCT minister, and this committee to be led by former Senate President?
First of all, the visit or the attendance of Barrister Nyesom Wike, the FCT minister, who happens, don't forget, to be a former governor of Rivers State, is more than qualified. Is one of the invited guests. And don't forget, it is not a surprise.
We saw his former colleagues, the former famous G5.
Yes.
Former Governor Benue
they were there. Was there. Even the governor of Oyo State was there. Enugu State governor was also there. Now, the point I want to drive home is the fact that Nyesom Wike was duly invited to that meeting. It was handed an invitation. It was not a surprise.
Some media are tailoring it surprise.
Today,
is it because of his involvement in the APC?
Thank you. Now, a lot of people feels that he shouldn't be in that meeting. Reason being that because he has been appointed by opposition party, that is by a different party, which is the APC, forgetting that PDP Wike, Barrister Nyesom Wike, has not denounced
but
his membership.
He told Nigerians that he would not be supporting the PDP in any elections going forward.
Now,
till they get their house
supporting your political party or not is a question of interest. If Barrister Nyesom Wike decides that it's contesting for Senate, the seat of Senate from Rivers, or president, he will definitely sponsor and support the party. But that is not the point. The point is that the media or the media houses, different media houses, have been trying to create news where there is not news. It's not news because Barrister Nyesom Wike is still a bona fide member of the PDP. And for me, I have a problem with that. I have a problem with that in the sense that the continuous romance between Wike and the APC government will, for me, will continue to weaken the institution called PDP. Naturally, as somebody, as a political scientist and a student who is studying the politics in Nigeria, for me, the continuous romance between Wike and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will, one way or the other, affect the progress and the development of the PDP. So for me, beyond the committee that was set up yesterday, part of the requirement or responsibility of that committee should be to ask Barrister Nyesom Wike is to give account of his stewardship, his actions, positively or negatively, that have affected the PDP party, and to see if to give him suspension. But you know, suspension will be very difficult to be granted to Wike because he is one of the major sponsors. He has been sponsoring the PDP even till date. Now, when you say PDP, APC, do you know one thing that has been given Wike that relevance within the party is because of his structure, and he has been responsible for sponsoring his structure. And when I say structure, I mean some of his loyalists, some of the people who are answerable to him within the PDP. Do you know that some of them today have also been given appointment under his office in this Tinubu's government? So you can't read meaning to the political statement made by Barrister Nyesom Wike that furthermore he is not going to be sponsoring the PDP party. Meanwhile, he's still sponsoring the structure, and it is the structure that is using to destabilize the party activities and the progress. And that is why, personally, one of the results or what I would expect from the committee led by Saraki is that beyond reconciling the differences, the conflicts of interest within the PDP that has affected the party in the recent time, is also to set up a committee that will investigate the actions and inactions of Barrister Nyesom Wike, which has affected the party or liable to affect the party furthermore, and bring it and tell it, or bring it to what? Resolve the issue. No, you can't continue to have the likes of Wike. You know, it is going to be very difficult. Because Wike is not just a partial sponsor of the PDP, he is a major sponsor. And a lot of his structure within the PDP will do its bidding.
Now let's talk about some notable absentees, especially with the rumors of defections. Notably absent was the governor of Akwa Ibom, Governor Umweno. Also absent, suspended Governor Siminalayi Fubara and Governor Doyodiri, all notably absent from the meeting that held in Abuja. Is there much to be read into the absence?
Not really, because if you look at some among the names you've mentioned, like the governor of Bayelsa State, you will know that governor of Bayelsa State is one of the strong supporters of the PDP. Even in the recent time, he has been the sole individual that has been fighting to defend the integrity of the PDP in terms of ideology, in terms of principles, in terms of motivating the supporters of PDP. He has been vocal. He has been vocal in terms of his support to the PDP. So you cannot attribute or read any serious meaning to the absence of the governor of Bayelsa State. Why that is established, we can look at the current situation that is happening in Rivers State as the reason why Governor Similara Fubara was absent in that meeting. You know, just like I also read some stories from Shanes yesterday that he was trying to encourage his supporter that they should try to, share their sword and not engage in any actions that could lead or further affect the state in terms of negative impact on the state, because himself, it doesn't look like he's interested in the seat anymore. I know that is just to that statement was to actually settle some things in the sight of his supporters, for those who want to take action that will further denigrate the state into conflict or anything. So I understand his position, and then you just need to understand that politics, there has to be some calculations, and if there is anybody that needs to make certain that should be more calculative today, is the governor of Rivers State, and for me, his absence is for his own interest.
Now there's a statement also credited to him. He says his spirit has left the Rivers State government house and is not too eager to return as governor. Do you think this is accepting defeat?
He's not accepting defeat. He's trying to play low. There has been rumored that he's already trying to resolve the conflicts he's having with his predecessor. There was a rumor that he visited the president in England, some weeks ago.
But all these are speculations. As a supporter of Similara Fubara, if you hear a man you're supporting and eager for him to be reinstated into the seat of power in Rivers State say, my spirit has left, almost feels as though he has lost interest for the job.
It's political. Let me tell you what Governor Sim did or said at the altar yesterday in Port Harcourt. It's just political. It's mind game. He's playing a mind game. There is no way you will tell me that your spirit has left Rivers government house and you're still making move to reconcile with Wike, and also meeting with the president, and even telling your supporters not to take any action that would jeopardize the peace and the resolution path that he has embarked on. One thing you people should understand is that Governor Sim Fubara has embarked, for some few weeks now, he has embarked on resolving his own problem, retracting his step back to his godfather. So he's doing everything possible to reconcile with his godfather and the 27 lawmakers. So any action, now that negotiation is ongoing and it has not produced any tangible result, you don't expect him to keep quiet to allow his supporters or the actions of his supporter to affect the peace path that he's doing. So we need to understand as politicians that Fubara may even return to government house sooner than even the 6 months that has been projected. But be that as it may, all the actions of Sim Fubara today is to actually return him faster or quicker to the government house than expected. So it is not a question of accepting defeat. Take it or leave it. Sim Fubara is still much interested in returning back to the government house from the filler that we have gotten.
Now, if this is the case, don't you think it would have been better that he be in attendance of the PDP governors meeting to further cement this ambition, much like you've painted it?
No, he's not. Don't forget that Governor Sim Fubara does not have any problem with the PDP.
Or do you feel like he doesn't want to be misconstrued as having been suspended but still playing active part as though you were a governor?
Yes, he has been suspended as the governor. He's not a former governor. The meeting only say present governor, incumbent governors, and past governor. Which category does Sim Fubara belongs now. He's not a former governor and he's not a present governor. He's a suspended governor. PDP did not invite suspended governors. So that is why Sim Fubara is not in attendance.
Well, that being said, let's move on to another issue in the news this morning. It's a statement that has been made by the former First Lady, Dame Patience Jonathan, who has said that she would rather support the First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, and her husband, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in their 2027 bid for a re-election, citing that the president and his wife had supported herself and her husband back in 2011. Now, many have been calling for a formidable candidate as Nigerians hope that the next election cycle will give them more options other than just the APC seeking a re-election. But this statement here somewhat dispels any hope that anybody was having with the calls for former President Jonathan to return to the ballot.
You can't actually say that the statement made by the former First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Dame Patience Jonathan, has any importance or weight in terms of the caliber or the kind of contenders we are going to have going into the 2027 election. He has made his own statement, and how many people listen to the former First Lady? How many people take instruction from him? How many people even consult him before they contest the presidential election? He has made his own political statement, presently, or probably he has made that statement because he is benefiting or is happy with the direction this government is going. And he's
so
decided,
you think that her statement might be different from the position of her husband?
Of course. She is just an entity, an individual. We're talking about.
Is she not fit enough to speak for her husband?
She is not fit to speak for anybody. She has spoken. In politics, her husband can be saying something else. Why? She might be saying another thing. And it has happened in the case of the head of service in Rivers State, where the wife is saying something else and the husband is saying something else, despite the fact that they romance and live together in the same house. So you cannot attribute any importance to the statement made by the former First Lady in respect to the caliber of people
who will be running in terms of endorsement,
presidency
in terms of
in 2027. Yes, he has endorsed the president quite and fine. He has endorsed because she felt that this current administration has performed well and meet her own expectation, and she does not have any reason to challenge the presidency of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu because she is happy and satisfied with their current level of deliveries in terms of governance. But there are a lot of people who have a different opinion. A lot of Nigerians have a different opinion or view about the governance. Some people are not satisfied. Some people are just waiting for political season to climax, for them to show their dissatisfaction and disappointment to the APC government. So the game is just starting. It's just beginning. You will see a lot of endorsement and counter-endorsement. In short, before this week runs out, you will see that the statement made by the former First Lady might even be countered by her husband. So just wait and watch and see what is going to happen.
She also spoke about the importance of power rotation. The way we know power oscillates, and they say it is indeed a town of the Southwest, South-South. Do you think that as a region would see the region also keep with this rotation and allow the president go for a second term?
Let me tell you, there is only two regions in Nigeria: the North and the South. The six geopolitical zones you see is just a means of sharing economic proceeds. It's just for a means of sharing the commonwealth.
It's not in terms of
it's not in terms of electoral rotation. If you look at the history of this country, the only time power have slipped out from the north and the southwest is during the era of President Goodluck Jonathan. And I use the word slip. you would understand the manner and ways President Goodluck Jonathan got into that office. He got into the office because of the demise of the president, Musa Yar'Adua. That was why he became the acting president. And in 2011, there will never be any circumstances that would have changed his re-election. And that was why he became the president. And you realize that even when he tried to contest as a sole candidate without any circumstances backing him, he failed woefully, losing to President Muhammadu Buhari in 2015. Now, that being said, what I want to establish is that the power rotation in Nigeria is between the north and the south. Now, in the south, you already know, if power is coming to the south, it's going to the west, because the south and the southeast have not matured politically, and besides, the type of politics that is played over there has not favored them duly, you know. So for me, power rotation in Nigeria is not balanced. So I will not be surprised tomorrow if power slips out of southwest to south to north, or is still maintained or retained in the south. But the point is that because it is not in our constitution. Even the Muslim ticket, do you know how many people cry wolf and stood against it? But it finds its way into the system. So there are things we shouldn't pay so much attention to. We should focus more on the quality of the president, focus on the quality of the personality that is going to rule or govern this country. And for me, I'm not a strong proponent of this power rotation, because power has not been fairly rotated in this part of the world.
In being fairly rotated, do you think that other regions also have the strength in terms of numerical advantage? Because the North almost every time rubs it in the faces of Nigerians that they are the kingmakers and decide based on their numeric advantage.
Yes. You see, if you look at the map, do you know about 19 states against 17 states? The North is at advantageous position going into any democratic election. The democracy tenets provides that the majority in terms of numeric wins election, and then the North have the numerical strength to go into election. So naturally, topographically, geographically, the North has been favored by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and the only way we can have a balance is to create us to look at the foundation and do some major shakings in the foundation that establish the number of states in North, and maybe by the time we have equal states.
Do you think there will be any time so with this clamor for state creation that will have equal states shared across both?
There won't be, because now even if you're creating state in the south, you must or you want to consider state in the north for that to be given a passage. So this injustice has already been part of the system created by the British before leaving, and our forefathers were not careful enough to review some of the documents laid or handed over to us, and that is why this injustice will continue. I don't think that can change now. Maybe in future some occurrences or some situation orchestrate some organic changes that will make us to be balanced. But right now we are not balanced in terms of politically advantage. The North is like this, the South put together is like this in terms of how they will be favored. In short, the North have been magnanimous. If the North want to put their weight or their political advantage against the Southern Nigerian, the North will continue to be the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria forever. But the North has been magnanimous in terms of accepting
so
that
Nigeria
for Nigeria to become in Nigeria or a United States, there has to be power rotation. And sometimes the North are always very favored because they still decide who becomes the president from the South. And that is where the imbalance now lies. And I don't know if that can be corrected in the nearest future. Why do I say so? Why I say so is that, you know, there will be a lot of candidates in the South where the North have more advantages, that it is whoever they want from the South that will eventually become the president. And that is why the president is not taking the North for granted. You can see some of the projects and even the tour, some of his target for the campaign is the North. You can see that he has been trying to, lobby a lot of stakeholders in the North, and is trying to involve some people. You can see the activity of Sheyi Tinubu in the North. That is to tell you that as a president, if you want to remain your seat, you must play with the North.
But I'd like to find out from you, since you're referencing his son Sheyi Tinubu, in this case you're saying that the endorsement of the former First Lady might not be the position of her husband, but why do you think that the role of a son in a government which is not part of is more significant?
It's more significant because what has Dame Patient done in the last 8 years? What has she done in terms of...
She was one of the lead campaigners for the Bring Back Our Girl initiative.
When was that?
When the Chibok girls were taken in 2010.
When was that? Who was the president?
And 10 years down the line, she's still been quite an advocate for that.
She has never...
campaign.
What has she done in political environment of Nigeria to make her a political authority where people now go as a fountain to draw for? She has not done anything. She has not contributed anything to the political landscape.
In terms of
the point, you
might not really say that, because in terms of galvanizing the women folk, these are the conversations that make women feel marginalized. There's a voice for the women folk, and leader of first ladies during her tenure as first ladies across Nigeria. You won't say that her role in terms of galvanizing women to go to the polls and influence elections.
In 2023, we're all in Nigeria. We saw everything that happened. If not for the mere photo shooting between some candidates with the president, even the former president, Goodluck Jonathan and his wife, there was no major role. They did not lead any major campaign for any candidates. They did not handle the microphone. They did not mobilize that Goodluck Jonathan Vanguard support for Tinubu, or Goodluck Jonathan support Vanguard for Peter Obi, or Goodluck Jonathan Vanguard support for Atiku. There was nothing like that. They did not mobilize. They did not speak to the media about candidates. They do not endorse. It is now that maybe they are now benefiting from the system, that she's now coming out openly to endorse President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And I'm telling you, the battle in 2027 is not between APC and PDP. It is between APC and the Nigerian people. So, for me, we are only waiting to see what is going to happen in the future.
In terms of the other candidates that
in terms of every other qualified Nigeria that can command the respect and the emotions and support from the Nigerian people. For me, I don't have any strong candidate going into 2027. I am for Nigeria. I am from the growth, development, and the unity of Nigeria. And when we get to the bridge or to the river, we will cross it carefully. And for me, personally, and I know a lot of people share the same opinion with me, I am not waiting for anybody to give me endorsement. Who is going to give me endorsement when we're buying a fuel, a liter of petrol, 1,500? Who supported us? When we're paying almost 300 per kilowatt for electricity in Nigeria, who is supporting me? So is it you that have not been supportive in terms of how I survived this government of hunger and starvation for 4 years, that will now come and tell me that you are endorsing somebody? No. You can't do that to many Nigerians. And that is why, if there is one thing that pains me so much, is that Nigerians have not been able to unite as a force. No political party is speaking or providing credible opposition to checkmate the excesses of this government. Meanwhile, we need that in every democratic settings, in order to create what we call check and balances. Yes, with some of the voices we are hearing, dissenting voices we are hearing, is just creating check. There is no balance. It is only where there is consequence felt by the people in position of leadership that they can give balance a chance. Today, there have been a lot of voices, but to what end has that contributed in correcting the anomalies that this government has put in place? The hunger out there, the injustice in terms of sharing formula, the injustice in terms of appointment, the injustice in terms of not considering the lower echelon of the society. Through these bills, you can imagine the kind of bills that see, a lot of people are just keeping mute. 2027, many Nigerians will speak through the ballot. I personally, we are making a move to register about 30% of Nigerians to vote. You know, we have a pattern in Nigeria. Those who have been voting in this country belong to just particular group since 1999. So what we are trying to do now, beyond the social media charades, beyond the social media chanters, those who are throwing tantrum on social media, those who don't contribute meaningfully to the democratic of Nigeria. You see, one of the set of people I do not associate with in my life are those netizens. You see a lot of people throwing shades on social media, lambasting, making noise, without wisdom, without understanding that you cannot win election on the social media. And that is why sometimes I fought Peter Obi. Why not create an organic movement that will educate Nigeria that the only way you can effect change or contribute to the positive changes that you desire in Nigeria is to be involved in politics? We need to register about 50% more voters. All the people that are voting in Nigeria today, they are the problem we have in Nigeria, because they are not voting with their mindset, with a clear mindset of what leadership entails, or do not understand what the principle of leadership is all about. They are only voting based on sentiment. This ideology, this people that sell in the market, these talakawas, these motor park guys, those are the people that vote. The elite, the educated Nigerians don't vote. So what we are trying to do now is to have what they call a think tank group for professionals, where we can register more voters. See, the people, the set of people that will deliver Nigeria from these charades that you see of inefficiencies and lack of proper representations from our leadership is because we have always voted in the wrong people, and the people who have been voting are the wrong people in the society. The elite, the educated Nigerians, we need to encourage them to get their ballot paper, to get their voters card, and to get involved in politics. And that is the bigger tax. The bigger tax is not between the people, the voters we are seeing now. If you check the psyche of most of the voters you see in Nigeria, they think myopic. Their thinking is very myopic, sentimental, and very narrow. So what we want to do now is that the professionals, the elite, the educated young people, the youth, the vibrant young people, that their thinking is balanced. A lot of them don't like politics. A lot of them don't like voting. So we try to create an avenue or a situation that can conscientize them to know the importance of getting into that political environment, and not just get into the political environment on social media, but also to obtain their voters card and get involved in voting.
But there's an argument for some of these persons who have succumbed to voter apathy, is the fact that Nigerian elections have not metamorphosed into the place we can accommodate e-voting. Most of them, you would recall, in the 2023 general elections, came online to complain about intimidation. It was on record in certain parts of the country, I don't want to mention name, where people were caught on camera intimidating certain ethnic groups. Some persons also got grave injuries on their body during the last elections, whilst we had law enforcement standing by idle. These are some of the reasons why you find some of these groups succumbing to voter apathy.
It is a lazy way to think, my dear brother. Lazy way in the sense that, yeah, if you look at what happened in Ojo, in Lagos State, if you look at what happened in Oshodi, if you look at what happened in Okota, I still have records of some of this intimidation by some APC government in Lagos. If you even look at what happened in Anambra State, where Peter Obi hail from, you know, rigging takes place in all parts of Nigeria. A lot of people, or any environment where you find a dominant opposition, dominant candidate or dominant party, you find out that they hate the process of rigging. Now, rigging has always been possible because of lack of involvement of the majority of the people. Rigging is totally impossible if we have a lot of interest that is against rigging. Do you know that only few people coming out to challenge a dominant people in area is very, very catastrophic? It's very, very dangerous. A lot of people who have been crying that it's because of the electoral reforms, it is because of this and that. See, a lot of people do not understand that election or voting counts in Nigeria. I, for one, I know that there is rigging in Nigeria. In short, rigging is part of the process. As a political scientist, as a political student, I have studied that you cannot win election in this evolving democracy in Africa, or Nigeria to be precise, without getting involved in some forms of rigging. Do you know that there are so many ways you can rig election? Yes, there are so many ways you rig election. Either using money, intimidation, influencing the INEC decision, influencing the, in short, even giving food. As inducement and everything happens globally. And in Nigeria, it is more prevalent. I have been an observer to INEC, and I've seen that rigging takes place everywhere in Nigeria. So, as a political student, as a politician, as a voter, you must understood all these technicalities. You must understood the situation clearly. For me, I am not going to say that I won't get involved because of rigging,
because of this issue,
because of that issue, or that I would rather equip my team. If it is about rigging, we get the best teachers to teach them how to rig. I'm coming. Let me tell you, that is what.
Would not advise that.
No, let me tell you. President Goodluck Jonathan rigged election.
Hold on.
President Muhammadu Buhari rigged election.
Desmond,
even President Tinubu rigged election. Let me tell you how rigging takes place.
Hold on.
Now,
we'll get to that.
Maybe the language I'm using, people don't understand. Now, for example, you have an agent of a political party, and you have been told that during that campaign that day, you should not wear anything that has to do with what? With any that will show the symbol or the logo of any political party, and you find some people still wearing that t-shirt and everything.
Your technicality.
That is not even that. That is only that.
Well,
there are people even within the community that will be, we call them canvassers. Well, canvassers. Imagine canvassers.
We'll get to this in a bit. We have a commercial break built for this.
In conclusion, what I'm just saying in conclusion is that as a candidate, you must learn the good, the bad, and the ugly aspect of.
We have